Assalamu alaikum students. Uh, you have already done a lot of questions related to job interviews. We have must have written them in your registers, but this question is something new. It is related to the current situation. Such a question has never before appeared in your past papers, but we have to keep in mind the current situation and the way it is affecting every walk of life, every process, every pattern, every work of life has been affected by it, and in job interviews are no exception. So here we are going to talk about the changes that have occurred in the interview process or pattern due to COVID-19. So we know that face-to-face interviews were a first priority. So changes in interview methods, first we are going to talk about changes in interview methods, then about the SOPs of interviews, then the question and answers, changes that have happened in the question and answers, and the changes in required skills due to all these changes are due to COVID-19. First, coming to the major changes in job interviews due to COVID-19, number one is virtual recruiting. Face-to-face interviews are still not, are still an option. They are not totally, totally something which do not happen now. They still happen, but some SOPs are followed. But virtual recruiting is one major change which has happened in job interviews. People prefer video conferencing or telephonic interviews, and online testing or online question and answers, online quizzes are asked. So these are some changes in the methods of interview. For video conferencing, certain tools such as Zoom, Google Meet, and WhatsApp video conferencing, and other Meetup, there are other things which are used. And telephonic interviews is the video conferencing is through cyber devices, telephonic interviews through mobile phones, and portfolio based interviews is through your CV which you have uploaded on the internet, and interview is based on that portfolio, and you get your quizzes and questions and other tests online. You're tested online for the job. So these are some major changes in the interviewing methods, and some changes in the SOPs of interview due to the pandemic. For face-to-face interviews are no handshake is not an option now, not something necessary now. It will never again be. So, and then a face mask and a glove are must, and use of sanitizers, no exchange of stationery, and no touching doorknobs and other things over there. Extra touching is something which you will avoid. And if you have a fever and if you are not feeling well, this is going to be a new SOP that you will have to inform your interviewer. Instead of going there, you will first have to inform the interviewer so that she may change the date or make some other arrangements for you. So these are some SOPs for face-to-face interviews. And then some SOPs for video conferencing and telephonic interviews. So this is something new. Many people were not aware of it. Such a change might be so necessary. Interviewee should take video and telephonic interviews as seriously as a face-to-face interview. He should be prepared for it. He should prepare for the answers of all possible questions, and he should rehearse it just as he would rehearse for a face-to-face interview. And for a telephonic or video conferencing interview, he should select a calm and quiet place where no noise or other disturbances may interrupt the interview. So these have become some SOPs, some essentials, some changes which are required now in the interview process. You should choose a calm, quiet place, and as it's the age of technology, it's important to possess a laptop with all updated features. And before one day before the interview, and before the interview, it has now become some SOP or an important thing that the mic and speaker which are already built in the laptop should be checked if they are properly functioning or not. And a backup a backup for internet connection, and power supplies needed before essential things that are to happen on through laptops or through cyber devices. And power supply, in case of power failure, usually you can keep the laptop charged. So these are some arrangements which are to be made for a video conferencing or interview which is to be held through a computer. Changes in question and answer pattern. Yes, some changes have occurred in question answer pattern. What strategies will you use for overcoming the challenges in work caused by COVID-19? This can be one question. Okay, how will you overcome the challenges which everybody is facing in the work environment due to COVID-19, and how well acquainted, how familiar are you with operating computer and working through it? इसके थ्रू आप अपना सारा काम कैसे करेंगे? So ये क्वेश्चन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन हो गया कि इसको आप कितना जानते हैं, and what strategies will you use for distant working, and have you learned any new skill in the past couple of months which were the months of the pandemic? What is your work from home setup like? This is some question which was never asked before. So some changes have occurred in the question answers as well. And required skills, the required skills have also changed. Some changes in the required skills. Some skills have become a must in all kinds of job. Proficiency in the use of computer. Proficiency means excellence. You should have mastery in it. You should know about every tool and about every you can say function of it. Flexibility and adaptability is something which is very much required due to the ever occurring changes during the last few months. Critical thinking, analytical thinking, sensible thinking, this is something which is required. Communication and emotional intelligence, creativity and innovation in order to, you can say, adapt in a better way during this current pandemic. It's important to possess all these skills. And then some problems about the interviewee which he can face in understanding the work environment and about his interviewer and the company. ज़ाहिर है जब वो बात ही सारी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के थ्रू कर रहा है तो वो अपने कुलीग्स को नहीं देख सकता कि मैं किन लोगों के साथ काम कर रहा हूँ, वर्क एनवायरनमेंट क्या है, वहाँ पे लोग कैसे हैं, किस तरह का वहाँ पे सारा सेटअप है. सो उसके लिए फिर एडवाइस है कि द इंटरव्यू शुड गो थ्रू द वेबसाइट, फेसबुक पेजेस एंड अदर रिव्यूज़, ऑनलाइन रिव्यूज़, ऑनलाइन सर्च करे, फिर उस कंपनी के बारे में लोगों से मालूमात हासिल करे और ख़ुद अपने ओन पे उसको ऑनलाइन सर्च करके अंडरस्टैंड करे जिस कंपनी में वो जा रहा है कि उसका एनवायरनमेंट वो कैसे अंडरस्टैंड कर सकता है, एंड अदर थिंग्स. So these are some changes which have happened in the process of interview due to the pandemic.